like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth here. Smallwood and Baker. As you can see, there's police presence. A 72-year-old woman was shot going to her car, caught in the crossfire. Of course, this is Matthew Henson Elementary School, school number 29. And so what we're doing now is going to see the community president, community activist extraordinaire, marvelous Marvin Doc Cheatham. He had a rally back around 12 noon. So we're going to check on the community president. Pretty certain that he is upset, to say the least, to have a 72-year-old woman shot. I gotta tell you folks, this is a community in which I grew up in, and it's just not settling when you hear of things as tragic. You know, this was a beautiful neighborhood not that long ago. The scourge of drugs has brought a lot of trauma to both the physical and the human capital. We're live, Doc Cheatham, we're live.
If I can get the door unlocked.
I've been rolling the video. We came through
Come on in.
the now infamous corner of Smallwood and Baker, and you know, my heart just dropped.
You was in the hood.
That's just not something that we're used to in this neck of the woods.
You got that right.
It shouldn't be normal anywhere.
Awful day we had.
What'd you think? I mean, what came to mind?
We're real pleased with the representation we had from the community. Some are still reluctant. We have a pretty good picture.
How you doing?
That's the genius. That's my son. That's
Yes,
Martin
sir.
Jr. Yeah, Donnie, I'm real pleased. The neighbors came out. We have an agreement now with the sheriff's office.
Yeah, so we came through there, 3 Baltimore city officers and a sheriff.
Yeah, sheriff's office is going to be there on a regular basis now, like we did with McKean and Baker.
I saw that too.
Yeah, they'll be there regularly now, and we went public. We actually stated where the 8 open-air drug markets are in the area. The police have agreed to upscale their surveillance of our area. Because when you shoot a 72-year-old and you shoot children, you know, there's no limit as to what you would do. We did ask that the individual or those that know him tell him to turn himself in. We don't want any more harm to come to anybody else, including him. We're praying for him. But, you know, you can't shoot just willy-nilly into a neighborhood where there are children and adults.
Some parent, that child has a parent.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
We
Both of
called
them.
out to the family, you know, to turn him in.
But they are parents, at the end of the day, who are complicit with this foolishness.
Unfortunately, Donnie, you're right. Yeah, sadly enough.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. It's tough, Donnie. But I was real.
You know your child.
Yeah, you got to know your child and what he or she is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you caught me in the middle of cleaning the house.
Okay. But so now what? I mean, what's the shot of hope for the city of Baltimore? I mean, we're in chaos.
We're in chaos, and I would have to candidly say, Donnie, I was. I don't want to say I'm a little bit quick to the draw at this point, but Yesterday I was just out of it, Donnie, mentally. That a senior that I've known all my life. She's known me since I was a little teeny boy. Her nephew Calvin Peel was one of the greatest track runners we ever had in Baltimore. His mother, I want to say she's 102 right now. They live in the same house together. And I've known this lady all my life, and know that she's the one who got shot. It just hurt me, Don. It hurt the heck out of me. You shooting a 72-year-old. But we got a lot of work to do. Matthew Henson's got to do a little bit more. More people got to step up to the plate and get active.
So let's clarify something.
Right.
People who live in what are your borders? Let's do a plug for your neighborhood association, Matthew Henson.
Matthew Henson borders are on the west. We are at Betlow Street, where Eastwood Park is located. On the south, we are at Pressman Street. That's where Carver High School is located. Carver is a school that's within our community. On the east is Fulton Avenue. That was the dividing line between blacks and whites that lived in our community. And north, we are the south side of West North Avenue. We have a little more than 1,000 houses. We're one of the largest residential areas in Baltimore City to have over 1,000 houses in one little neighborhood. That's a whole lot of people. We're the Freddie Gray area to a great extent, even though most folks go to Penn North when they think of the Freddie Gray area. Well, we had more businesses hit during the riots than anybody. We had 14 businesses hit in Easterwood. It's a great community, but we're suffering with drug sales, distribution, because the folks that are getting the drugs from Penn North are coming down into our area. The same thing is happening to the west of them.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm an avid news watcher, particularly through this election, and can't help but watch Fox. They're doing 52 hours of news compared to like 39 hours with the other stations. But Kai Jackson never fails to mention the squeegee kids on the corner. I also see panhandlers on these corners.
Yes, sir.
Panhandlers who are not from this community.
That's right.
Who we find
and don't look like this community.
And we find them participating in the drug trade all day, every day.
That's right. That's right.
Now, presumably, Fox hasn't heard any complaints from the black community about this issue. What sayeth you, Doc Cheatham?
Well, it is clear, all ethnicities are having a drug problem. Sadly enough, it is highlighted because we are predominantly African American in this area. But when I'm president of a neighborhood where 98% of the residents are African American, and I'm seeing 20 to 25% of the people walking through my neighborhood every day don't look like my neighborhood, then I know something is happening, and I know what's happening, that the drug sales and distribution is affecting everybody. All ethnicities, folks are coming from New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They're coming all into this area to not only get drugs, but they're basically housing themselves. They're taking over these boarded up houses now. And the city has done a poor job.
Well, didn't the Freddie Gray incident and the subsequent consent decree have an impact on this proliferation of non-black addicts and panhandlers in the black community?
Yes, but sadly enough, it made it negative. It made it worse. It did not make it better.
Can you explain?
I'm very disappointed in what little is being done by the consent decree. I don't see where any real benefit has come to us as a result of it. My community has not received not 1 cent as a result of what happened during the Freddie Gray riots. It looks like everybody around us is benefiting, and my community is one of the few that is not in the opportunity zone, which is amazing to us. We went to the White House 2 weeks ago. I personally had a visitation thanks to an invite of the lady that's running against Kwesi. She invited me, and the White House had me, and they discussed with me the opportunity zone and what's happening. We got to do better, Donnie. We're hurting in many areas. I'm not the only community. There's about 10 of us that are suffering the same way. But we can't give up, Donnie. That's one. That was the message I had today. I told neighbors, you got to get actively involved in what's happening. And you can't look the other way. I'm not necessarily saying, I had some young guy call a radio station talk about snitching. No, it's not snitching. When you're saving the lives of your children
and these are innocent civilians.
And that's it, Donnie.
See, snitching is somebody in the game.
In the game, doing something.
A civilian,
that's right,
historically, and that's the significance of knowing your history, there was respect. And you don't mess with civilians.
Yeah. Don, you hit the nail on the head. That
there's no code today.
Yeah, there's no code, and we have to protect everybody, the youth, the seniors. We have to protect everybody. So you got to give up the information. Folks got to turn their folks in. If you got a drug problem, let's get you some help. If you got to get rehabilitated, teach you how to do a particular job, we're willing to help. Our neighborhood said today very clearly, if you got a problem, we want to help you with the problem. But we can't have you selling drugs and shooting in our community.
Something else came to mind from watching the news, not sure which station. They talked about an education packet, and I think it was Googling Baltimore news, something I do all the time. And